The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my show, The Right Side. Doug Billings here with you. Don't forget now, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you're over on YouTube. It's free. Click the bell so that you get notified of all of the new content that drops from The Right Side over here. So today I want to dig in to two things that are stirring up a lot of confusion and a lot of emotion on the right side. First of all, the alarm bells that some people are ringing about the nonsensical World War III, right? And the complaints that, hey, they said Iran's nuclear program was obliterated 6 months ago, so why are we still hitting them? Trump must have sold us out. MAGA's dead, and all of that nonsense, okay? Secondly, I'm going to talk about why some of the biggest Trump-supporting voices in the podcast and influencer space have suddenly flipped and now are against President Trump and hammering him almost daily. So those two topics are connected in a way. Both of them stem from people who are not fully grasping how hardball politics and governing actually work once you're in power, instead of just fighting from the outside like we are, or they're purposefully aware of all that, but they're just chasing clicks and revenue. I'll get to that and explain it as we go here. But let me start with the WWIII fears. This is not going to be World War III, nowhere even close. The nuclear, obliteration question, I'll start there as well, because I know that that's weighing on some good people's minds out there. I'm seeing posts and I'm hearing from listeners who are reading comments like, hey, this Iran situation, it's spiraling, man. Doug, Russia, China, nukes, World War III's coming. So, all right, we don't make fun of them. We're not going to lambast them in public. We're here to help them. And at the same time, you have other people who are saying, hey, wait a minute. Wait. Back in June of 2025, Trump and Pete Hegseth said that we've obliterated Iran's nuclear capacity and capabilities. We've set them back decades, complete and total. Now, it's March 2026, and all of a sudden, we've launched Operation Epic Fury with more strikes. So we were sold a bill of goods? Is that it, Doug? Was it all just hype? They're not in this because of Trump. They're in it for Israel. Okay, then it goes on and on and on. I hear the concern. I really do hear it. I'm not here to make fun of anybody. I'm not here to tease anyone in public. I'm here to help. Nobody wants to see another endless war. Nobody wants our kids sent into another quagmire. And nobody likes feeling like they were told one thing and now it looks like another. I get it. But let me walk you through this. It's not what you think if you're on that bandwagon. This is the straight facts. This is the big picture, the strategic picture. Because this is not escalation towards global war. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. It's Trump executing hardball, follow-through leadership that past presidents, quite frankly, have never had the stomach or the man parts to do. First of all, World War III is not on the horizon. It's not even close. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourself permission to disassociate from anybody who claims that. Look at the actual players who are involved here. Russia is bleeding in Ukraine. Manpower shortages, equipment losses, sanctions biting deep into their economy. Putin can barely sustain one front. And he's not suicidal enough to open a second front against the United States military over the Iranian regime. He doesn't care that much about it. China, Xi Jinping needs stable oil markets, and the global trade is far more important to him than his need to, prop up a failing theocracy in Tehran. So a wider war would crater their economy in China overnight. Supply chains would collapse. Energy prices explode. Domestic unrest would spike. Yes, even in China and even in Russia. So neither Beijing nor Moscow has moved meaningful resources. They've not activated defense pacts. They've not issued credible ultimatums. Look at the truth behind these inflammatory statements and headlines that get you worked up. They're watching. Absolutely, China and Russia are watching. The whole world's watching. Russia and China are posturing a little bit, but they're staying out. They're not involved. Now, why would that be? Because our generals have designed this operation to stay contained. precision joint strikes with Israel. No massive ground invasion, no open-ended NATO coalition that pulls everybody in deeper. Trump's publicly called out the non-responsive allies also. The regime's proxies are shattered. Their economy is imploding. Streets protest in Iran back again, flaring up. And Iran is weaker than it's been in 40 years. No great power is coming to save them. That's called deterrence through strength, ladies and gentlemen. It's not reckless escalation. Now, let me talk about the nuclear piece here, because yes, Operation Midnight Hammer in June of 2025 hit 3 locations primarily, Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan. Now, the centrifuges were smashed. Underground facilities had collapsed. Breakout time to a real bomb extended dramatically. And Trump called it, quote unquote, obliterated. And intelligence confirmed that severe damage, years of setback, were inflicted upon Iran. But obliterated doesn't mean, ladies and gentlemen, permanently vaporized from history. It means degraded to the point that they can't threaten imminently at that time back in June. The regime didn't surrender, however. I mean, they didn't just stop and dismantle their entire program. They hid it. They hid surviving equipment in covert sites. They preserved their scientific knowledge. They kept enriched uranium stockpiles. They squirreled away all of that, and they quietly tried to reconstruct and reconstitute pathways to nuclear weaponry. And when new intelligence showed movement, not so far from a deliverable weapon, we saw that they had clearly tried to claw back their capabilities. Now, Trump didn't waste any time. He didn't sit on his hands or kick the ball down the road like previous administrations. He authorized epic fury. And he authorized epic fury to finish what Midnight Hammer started. Missile factories are gutted. Estimates say that between 90 to 95% of production capacity is degraded. Weaponization research is targeted. Delivery systems are crippled. You know, I was watching Tulsi Gabbard testify before the Senate. She clearly said that unchecked, they could have military viable ICBM technology before 2035. If that's not an imminent threat, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is. Trump's making sure that the clock never restarts on this. This isn't contradiction. It's not failure. It's persistence. Past presidents kicked the can. They managed the threat. They negotiated really bad deals, and they let it fester. Trump hits hard. He assesses the situation honestly, he's transparent with us, and he hits it again if needed, until the capacity is really gone. That's what winning looks like. So the people yelling, hey, they lied about obliteration, they're echoing a media framing echo chamber that wants to portray chaos. They've fallen for it. They see the headline, but they don't look between the lines. They don't look behind the lines. They don't dig into the story. And proud conservatives like us, we see the truth. Real strength requires follow through, and Trump is delivering it. So breathe easy on the World War III panic. The alarmists, they might mean well. I'm willing to extend them grace, but they're letting emotion outrun facts. We stay vigilant, we stay proud, we stay winning, ladies and gentlemen. And that brings me right into the second piece that's causing so much heartache and confusion out there. And that's why some of the loudest pro-Trump voices from a few years ago are now online every day tearing into him, saying, Trump betrayed the base, MAGA's dead. You know, turning every personnel move or tough call into some kind of fictional proof of a sellout. So it hurts to a degree. I know what you're feeling. I've seen your calls. I've got your messages. I know it does. It's confusing. But these aren't random leftists. These are people that we stood with when the world, was against us, when it went crazy. From the Russia hoax, through the impeachments, through the 2020 Steele claims, the censorship, the January 6th fallout, all of it. We shared their content. We defended them. We sent them support, perhaps. So when they flip like this, and they flip hard, it feels like family turning on us. But here's the compassionate, no-nonsense explanation as to why they're doing this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the predictable collision between hardball politics and the realities of the attention economy. Everybody's after your attention. Politics is a game. It is a tough, high-stakes game of positioning, relationships, negotiation, votes, and survival. And in elected office, especially, adversaries in these elected offices, adversaries can become allies, and it happens all the time. It's normal. It's not sinister. It shouldn't befuddle anybody. Senators who campaigned against each other end up co-sponsoring legislation. Governors who criticized Trump in primaries now back him up because they see the results. Secure borders, energy wins, foreign threats are crushed, all of it. That's not betrayal, that's governing, ladies and gentlemen. People in the arena rarely hate each other the way that online drama portrays it. People in the elected class in politics don't seethingly hate each other. It happens, but very rarely. Not like online drama would portray it. So what they do is they compete fiercely, and then they cut deals when the math works. Now, some commentators out there, they don't understand that. They see everything evolving. Relationship is a conspiracy or a sellout. If your relationship with a former adversary evolves into a friendship or a collegial relationship, it's a conspiracy theory. It's a sellout. So it's just how power gets things done, ladies and gentlemen. And the podcast and the influencer space, it's a different beast. And I can talk about that in some detail. It's a business. Attention equals revenue. Remember that. So for years, the biggest return on investment came from full-throated Trump support, defending him against every attack, amplifying every rally. Remember? Rallying against the deep state. And that wave built huge audiences, fat ad deals, merch lines, speaking fees, maybe a book deal here or there. But now Trump is in office again, delivering his wins. Border crossings are down to zero. Iran is reeling. Election integrity fights are underway. And the pure opposition outrage fuel is lower than it was before. So the "we are the resistance" narrative doesn't hit the same way when your side is running the show. So what happens in any attention business when the old formula cools off? What do you think happens? Well, you've got to pivot. You test new angles. What if I lean into disappointment? Or Doug, hey, what about this, man? What if we question Trump harder than we have? What if I get out there and I just say MAGA's dead? So they're testing it. Controversy, ladies and gentlemen, travels faster online than does news about steady wins. Okay? Thumbnails that scream betrayal, they'll get clicks. Comments will explode, algorithms will push it, and revenue then ticks up. It's not always deep ideological conversion that we're watching with these people. Most often, it's just experimental return on investment hunting. They want to hunt for more ROI. They rode the pro-Trump wave. They built their platforms. Some of them became very famous and very wealthy. And now they're scouting the next wave. That's what this is. Whatever niche drives the engagement in a post-opposition era, that's what they're going to chase. So look at Carrie Prejean Boller. All right. She was appointed, as you may know, to the Faith and Religion Advisory Council for President Trump. She's a solid conservative, strong on family values, and then she got removed. Okay? She has every right to be upset. Nobody likes to be fired. But instead of restraint, she could have chosen private outreach, behind the scenes, networking, take the high road positioning for another role. She went instead to scorched earth. MAGA is dead. Trump abandoned us. She goes out and gets on really big shows with Piers Morgan and others. And first of all, when she says MAGA is dead and Trump abandoned us, those are lies. Those are not true claims. Secondly, those claims, that stance and that posture doesn't open any doors. It slams them. At least it does in our world. Now, it's the same pattern that Joe Kent is using. Resigns dramatically, publicly, when he could have done it in private. Claims that Iran is no imminent threat at all, despite clear, obvious 50-year-old track records and evidence and actions and his own words. He did it because he knows that controversy equals visibility. That equals bigger opportunities down the line. He's waiting for his big gig. Now, I'm not saying these people are evil, not at all. Many started where we did, frustrated patriots who were fighting back. They built businesses, teams, families, podcaster platforms, all of it, around all of that success riding the Trump wave. Now the math has changed, so they're adapting. And to a great degree, that's human. But it's also why we have to be discerning. We don't build our conservative movement on fair-weathered voices. The health ranger out there used to be a great guy, conservative, had a network, started a network. He's gone bat poop crazy. We built our movement on consistency. People who explain, the hard realities of governing with common sense, who celebrate wins, even when they're not flashy, who critique constructively without turning every adjustment into an apocalypse. Trump's delivering. Border is secure. Zero crossings. Energy is protected. Threats are crushed. The scoreboard is moving in our direction. So here's my plea from the heart. Don't let these flippers steal your peace. Don't let them do it. Fact check before sharing and ask this very simple question when you see something that has the capacity to perhaps trigger you. Just ask, does this help us win, or does it just make us mad? And support the voices who put truth and credibility before the clicks, even when it's quieter and even when it doesn't go viral. We've got real enemies who want us divided. We don't need to help them. You're not alone in feeling the sting about all of this. I promise you that, but we're stronger than the noise. We really are. Trump's fighting for us every day. The results are real. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient. So keep your eyes there and keep your heart proud. We're winning, and the truth is still on our side. It's still on the right side. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, support this program. I never charge you a dime for it. Head over to DougBillings.us. Prayerfully consider setting up a $5 a month recurring donation to the program, DougBillings.us. And then also head over to YouTube. Search out at the right side Doug Billings. Subscribe. It's free. Click the red bell on YouTube so that you get notified every time we drop new content. That's how you help spread this news, spread the right side. And it's how we all know that we're in this thing together. Believe it, folks, for the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the set of my show, Doug Billings. Hey, my good friends at EMP Shield, that's electromagnetic pulse, in case you're from Raytown, Missouri. Electromagnetic pulse could wipe out your home electrical system, could wipe out your vehicle. And thanks to the radical liberal agenda that was put forth under Administrator Biden and Vice Pretender Harris, there are lots of people in this country who want to do us harm. And maybe an EMP device would be their chosen weapon. But EMP Shield gives you a device that can protect you. This little baby here goes on your home outlets, a computer, a router, whatever you want to protect. And then they also have a larger model like this. You can still hold it in the palm of your hand that goes on your vehicle battery so that you can get out of trouble from point A to point B. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug, ladies and gentlemen. Save yourself. Save your property. EMPshield.com. Promo code Doug. We're in this together, folks. Believe it. For the Republic. Cheers.
The Right Side with Doug Billings.